guys, so in a past video I discussed various turnarounds that you can use in a kind of jazz blues, 12-bar blues chord progression to get you back sort of to the beginning of the next round of the 12-bar blues. And I more or less just covered the 1-6-2-5 and then just heaps of sort of variations on the 1-6-2-5 using a bunch of different substitutions. Now a 1-6-2-5 in the key of C would go 1-6-2-5 as the name implies, C, A, D, G. So in terms of chords that would be C7, A7, Dm7, G7. And so the last 4 bars of a 12-bar blues would sound something like this. And then you begin again back on the C. Now I covered a slight variation on that, which is a 3-6-2-5 and then to the 1. So that would be an Em7 to the A7, Dm7 to the G7. And I think I explained that effectively an Em7 is a substitute for a C7 in that these two notes are the same, so it kind of acts as a rough substitute for the chord. And it also acts as a kind of secondary 2-5-1. So you go 2-5, which is in the key of D major, and then you move down diatonically to the next step, and you go 2-5 to get to the C. So you've got your secondary 2-5, moving to your primary 2-5, and then you begin again. And so the last 4 bars would sound something like this. Now in this little video I just want to give you a couple more variations on the second one that I showed you, the 3-6-2-5 turnaround. Also using similar types of ideas, so tritone substitutions and things of that nature. Alright, so the first one I want to show you is quite simple. It uses tritone substitutions, so it substitutes the Em7 for a B-flat-7 and a D-7 for an A-flat-7. So then the whole turnaround goes something like B-flat-7, A7, A-flat-7, G7, then back to your C. And so yeah, the last 4 bars would be something like this. Right, so that one works quite well. So you've got the same sort of idea, the secondary 2-5 to the primary 2-5, but using tritone substitutions. And it works well because you're moving down in semitones. And when you keep your sort of chords close together and moving down in semitones to the ear, for whatever reason, it sounds quite nice. Now, you can use that same idea, but instead of tritone substituting the E and the D, you can do it to the A and the G. So the A7 becomes E-flat-7, and the G7 becomes D-flat-7. So then you've got something like this. You can play E-7, or I'm going to play E7, so that's also a bit of a substitution, but I'm going to go E7, E-flat-7, D7, D-flat-7, down to the C. So the last 4 bars would go. And that works for the same idea, for the same reasons. You're tritone substituting a couple chords, and you're moving down in semitones all the way down to the C. So it sounds good. Now the next one I'm going to show you uses that same general idea, the secondary 2-5, moving to the primary 2-5, moving to the 1 for your next go around the 12-bar blues. But instead of using tritone substitutions, we're going to substitute in a diminished chord. So we're going to play the Em7 as normal, but then instead of the A7, we're going to play a full diminished 7. So the reason that works is because there's only 1 note difference. Instead of playing E, G, A, C sharp, you're playing E, G, B flat, C sharp or D flat. So really the only note that's changed is the A, which has become a B flat. So that's a really close sort of chord substitution. And we're going to do the same with the G7, so we're going to go D-7, and then instead of G7 we're going to play D full diminished. So now that sounds like this. Again, the last 4 bars of the 12-bar blues. Right, that sounds really cool. Now, using a similar idea, using diminished chords, I'm going to show you another turnaround you can use. And that effectively goes E-7 to E flat full diminished, to D-7 to G7, and then back to your C. So the only chord that's different there is the E flat full diminished. Now, that chord is effectively a substitute for the D-7. There are 2 notes different there. Instead of playing D, F, A, C, you're playing E flat, G flat, A, C. So in that case, you've changed the turnaround chord progression slightly. You're effectively going E-7, D-7, D-7, G7 to the C. But instead of playing D-7, you're playing a E flat full diminished. Now again, the last 4 bars of a 12-bar blues using that turnaround goes as follows. Right, so that sounds good as well, and again that's using the basic kind of idea. Now the last turnaround I'm going to show you in this lesson is called the Ladybird turnaround. That's because it was used in the relatively famous jazz song called Ladybird, and it goes as follows. C major 7, to E flat major 7, to A flat major 7, to D flat major 7, and then back to C. Now notice all of those were major 7s, and that's the chords that were used for the sort of the original Ladybird turnaround. But if you want to use that in the blues, you can turn all of those into dominant chords. So you'd go C7 to E flat 7 to A flat 7 to D flat 7 to C7 back again. Now if you break that down, it's just a standard 1, 6, 2, 5 chord progression, but with tritone substitutions. So you play the 1, instead of playing the 6, you play the tritone substitution of the 6, which is the E flat. Instead of playing the 2, you play the tritone substitution of the 2, which is the A flat. And instead of playing the 5, you play the tritone substitution of the 5, which is the D flat. Right, so it's literally a 1, 6, 2, 5, but you tritone substitute all the chords except for the 1. So. And again, the last 4 bars of a 12-bar blues would go like this. That's all the ones I wanted to show you for this lesson. Thanks for checking it out, and good luck using them. They're quite fun. See ya.